Sometimes, life breaks you in ways you never expect. One moment you have everything, a dream job, respect, a beautiful home in Dubai, and in the next it's all gone. This is the story of Omar al-Rashid, a man who lost everything in a single night, but refused to let life defeat him. By the end of this story, you'll understand why giving up is never an option. Omar al-Rashid had it all. A high-paying job in a prestigious company in Dubai, a beautiful villa overlooking the skyline, and the respect of everyone around him. He was a man who seemed untouchable, confident, proud, and full of dreams. Every morning he would wake up to the golden sunrise over the desert, feeling unstoppable. But life has a way of reminding us that nothing lasts forever. He believed he had earned his success through hard work and intelligence. But sometimes, even the smartest plans can fail when fate decides to intervene. Omar spent his evenings with family and friends, hosting dinners in his villa, laughing and planning trips abroad. Everything seemed perfect, almost too perfect. But behind the smiles and the success, Omar felt a quiet pressure. The company he worked for was struggling financially, though no one outside knew. Small mistakes were magnified, rumors whispered, and a hidden storm was brewing. One evening, Omar received an urgent call. His biggest client had pulled out. A critical project was lost. The news hit him like a punch to the chest. That night, Omar sat alone in his villa, staring at the city lights that once made him feel proud. The walls that echoed laughter now felt empty. Fear and doubt crept in, the first cracks appearing in the life he thought was unbreakable. It was the first warning, the beginning of a night he would never forget. The next few weeks were a nightmare. Omar watched everything he had built crumble before his eyes. The company couldn't recover. His savings started to shrink. Even his reputation began to suffer. Colleagues, who once respected him, now avoided him, afraid to be associated with failure. He had once walked through the streets of Dubai with pride. Now he walked with his head down, a quiet fear pressing on his chest. Even the villa that once felt like a palace began to feel like a prison. The bills piled up, the cars stood idle, and the laughter that had once filled the halls was gone. One morning, Omar received news that hit him harder than anything before. The bank had frozen his accounts. Without warning, his life as he knew it was gone. He went from a man of influence and comfort to someone who had to rely on friends, and even they began to turn away. The emotional pain was unbearable. Shame, regret, and anxiety filled his nights. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't eat. Every step felt heavier than the last. Yet somewhere deep inside, a tiny spark refused to die. It was during this darkness that Omar realized one harsh truth. Life didn't care about his status, his wealth, or his pride. Life only respected resilience. And if he wanted to survive, he had to find that spark and turn it into fire. One early morning, Omar sat on the rooftop of his villa, now quiet and almost empty, watching the golden sun rise over the Dubai skyline. The city shimmered below, full of life, ambition, and opportunity. And in that moment, Omar realized something. He had survived the worst. He was still here, still breathing, still capable. He decided that giving up was no longer an option. With nothing left to lose, Omar started small. He began reaching out to old contacts, offering his skills for modest projects. He took jobs that once would have seemed beneath him. He worked late nights, often alone, fueled only by sheer determination and the memory of everything he had lost. Every day was a test. Every rejection hurt. Every failure threatened to crush him. But with every small victory, a project completed, a client satisfied, the fire inside him grew stronger. Omar realized that true success wasn't about wealth or fame. It was about resilience, courage, and the willingness to rise even when the world says you can't. Slowly, his reputation began to rebuild. People started to notice his dedication. Projects turned into partnerships. Partnerships turned into trust. And trust turned into a new foundation for life. The man who had once been broken was now stronger than ever, forged in the fire of loss and hardship. Omar al-Rashid had finally learned the most powerful lesson of all. Life doesn't define you, your will to rise does. Months turned into a year, and Omar's perseverance began to bear fruit. The small projects he had taken on grew into steady contracts. He regained financial stability, but more importantly, he regained self-respect and inner strength. Omar didn't just rebuild his life. He rebuilt his mindset. He learned that setbacks are not the end. They are opportunities to grow stronger, smarter, and more resilient. He learned that humility and hard work matter more than status and pride. And he learned that life will test you, but those tests are meaningless if you refuse to rise. Looking out from the balcony of his modest new office, Omar smiled. He didn't have the same villa, the same luxury cars, or the same social status as before. But he had something more important: peace, purpose, and the knowledge that he could survive anything life threw at him. The moral was clear: no matter how much you lose, no matter how deep the darkness seems, your will to keep going is the light that will guide you back. Omar al-Rashid's story is a reminder to all of us. Life can change in an instant. One moment, you can be on top of the world, and the next, everything can slip away. But what truly matters is not what you lose. It's how you respond. Omar could have given up. He could have let fear and despair take over. But he didn't. He fought, he worked. He believed, even when it seemed impossible. And in the end, he didn't just survive. He rose stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. Your setbacks don't define you. Your resilience does. No matter how many times life knocks you down, the choice to stand up again is yours. Remember Omar's journey and let it inspire you. Because no matter how dark the night may seem, the dawn always comes. And so can your new beginning. Thank you for watching Omar al-Rashid's journey, a story of loss, resilience, and triumph. If his story inspired you, remember, your struggles do not define you. Your determination does. If you want more motivational stories like this, stories that remind us to never give up, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that could change your life. Comment below. What's one challenge you've overcome that made you stronger? We'd love to hear your story. Remember, no matter how hard life hits, you always have the power to rise again. Because giving up is never an option.